Well, good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally doesn't work. So let's get over for business and let's wake up the football gods here on this Saturday morning. It is the calm before the storm. Before week number 6 gets into full swing, our Dallas Cowboys will be going to New England to take on the New England Patriots, a place we haven't won in forever. And that's going to be a big deal. If the Cowboys can get a win, maybe you start hearing some more news about the Cowboys being actually one of the top teams. Now, one of the top teams, or the considered top team, the only undefeated team, the Arizona Cardinals, may have a bit of a struggle tomorrow in Cleveland. They travel to Cleveland shorthanded because they have their coach, Cliff Kingsbury, has tested positive for COVID, along with Chandler Jones, their defensive end, as well as a couple other players, including one of their starting offensive guards, as well as other of their coaches. They're going to be going into enhanced COVID protocol going to Cleveland today, getting ready for the game. We don't know if anybody else is going to test positive, but definitely going to be shorthanded, as this is a big game with the Cleveland Browns. That may be the first stumbling block. And this is the thing about the NFL season. Sometimes you get a bit of luck in your schedule because maybe you play somebody who is missing a few players or down a few coaches, and you end up getting a win when you don't necessarily expect one. And all of these things, in the end, it doesn't matter if it was, we were outmatched but somehow found a way to win. It just goes down as a win. And this is maybe a crack and an opportunity for the Cowboys to gain some ground with the Cardinals, knowing that they're shorthanded. We look at Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, Tampa Bay is ahead of us as far as head-to-head. We'd actually have to be a game up on them if we're talking about playoff seeding, although this is probably a little early to be talking about that. But these are all things that run into your mind, much like Amari Cooper says. When you start winning like this, you can't help but to start thinking, what if? What are the possibilities? And so on. So, with Bill Belichick is a master at coaching. Now, I'll be the first one to say that I thought that New England would be better than where they were. I'm surprised that they didn't hold on to Cam to at least get Mac Jones' feet wet. Mac Jones, of course, is a little bit on the arrogant side, knowing that Diggs, who has actually a hurt ankle, has got 6 takeaways this season. He basically saying, I'm not shying away from him, my former teammate. You can't be scared, and I'm hoping he's not scared and we get a couple more pickoffs of him. This is a guy who's turned over the football 5 times in the last 2 games. But Bill Belichick, who's praising the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know if he's trying to lull us to sleep or what. On the offensive side of the ball, it's a really good line. They got some of the top players in the league, and that after losing Frederick with his injury situation. Obviously, the skilled players are good. Pollard leads the league in yards per carry, and Zeke, Dak, you got a couple of great receivers. But all that being said, Schultz is really the receiving leader, which is pretty remarkable considering the guys Prescott has to throw at. Okay. And he goes on, seeing a lot of the Cowboys the last couple of days. This is a really impressive group. I was going to go back through some of my notes. I was just looking at this team over the period of years. I would say one thing that really jumps out overall is the job that they've done acquiring talent. I think since 2006, they've had by far the most Pro Bowlers players. And it just seems like they always have every time we play them. Seems like they always have a lot of good players on the roster. Stephen Jones and the personal staff have obviously done a great job of selecting players and acquiring players. Stephen really has done a good job of putting a strong roster together. Looking at the personal staff, there's a lot of experience down there. Those guys have been around for a long, long time. I think on their personal staff, they have over 500 years of NFL experience on staff. That's 5 centuries. It's amazing. This is not a young group. I would say respectively because of the job they've done. But they've been there a long time, and they know what to look for. They know what they're doing. Steven, the personal staff, and Lionel, and those guys have done a remarkable job of consistently acquiring top-notch talent in the three areas. And this is the thing I've said several times, because consistently you'll see the Cowboys with 8, 9, 10, 11 Pro Bowl players, and playoff time we're sitting home on the couch. And you look at a New England team that's got like 3 or 4, and they're winning the Super Bowl. And that's where you kind of say, the fuck? How does that happen? How it happens is, and this is kind of where the Cowboys are now, New England understands it's not about having 6 or 7 great players. It's about having 30, 35 really good ones. Because if you lose one, it's okay because I got somebody else that can step in. See, in the past where we lose Tyron Smith, we go to a Chaz Green and give up 8 sacks in a game to an Atlanta team. In the past, we'd lose Sean Lee, and the defense would literally give up 100 more yards running, stopping the run. That one player, when you have such a top-heavy, high-talented roster, when you pay all of those guys, the next guys down are such a drop-off that it creates a hole in your offense or defense. And herein lies where the Cowboys are right now. They've got depth. And as you look at it, I talked a couple weeks ago, I said the Cowboys offense may not produce a whole lot of Pro Bowl players, as far as skilled ones. Because you got CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, there's not one guy that's getting the lion's share. Because we're not really a running offense or a passing offense, that we are really balanced, you're not going to have explosive numbers one way or the other. That Dak, may end up being middle of the pack yardage-wise, because we can do whatever it takes to win games. And because Zeke Elliott is splitting time with Tony Pollard, we're second in the NFL in running the football, and we've got 2 guys in the top 10, but neither of them are going to be the leading rusher. So when you're balanced, it doesn't create a lot of Pro Bowlers. And here is where New England has been. New England has been balanced with so many different guys that they rotate so many different players in. They hit you wave after wave after wave of players. You don't get these guys with these outstanding numbers that are tops in the league because they are spread across the board, which is conducive to winning games. And you can look at the Cowboys this year, who have been able to, have Donovan Wilson, their starting safety, only play 1 play. Have him go out, to lose both of your defensive ends in a game, to have Zach Martin go out, to have Lyle Collins gone the last 4 games, and have other guys that are really good to step in without a drop-off. So he's right about that. We've had a collection of great talent, but not necessarily a great team. Defensively, the front is impressive. A lot of speed at linebacker. They can cover, they can rush, they can play the run. Between Lamb and Pollard, the return game is good. Obviously, Coach Fossil is one of the top special teamers coaches in the league. So it's always a dangerous situation between him and the players. Zerline field goal range. I feel like he can kick them. So as soon as they cross midfield, they're in goal range. He's a big weapon too. Good mix of young players and guys kind of in their prime, and some veterans, and some guys they've acquired and added to the team, like Kazee and guys like that. Then there's other guys that obviously the big draft choices and some of their core players. Just overall, very impressive level of talent. Wow. Offensively, Coach McCarthy and Dan Quinn, I mentioned Fossil, they're very, very well coached. They do a great job offensively with their scheme, and they put a lot of pressure on defense. Defensively, they, as I said, pretty much do everything well. They're ranked at the top of the league in almost every category in offense and defense, and they're good at the kicking game, so not really a lot of weaknesses on the team. They're averaging 40 points a game the last 3 weeks and won pretty decisively. They beat the Chargers. They're obviously a good team, a pretty talented team, and we know we're going to have to play our best game, and that's what we're ready to do. Bill Belichick, that's a lot for Bill Belichick to say about the Cowboys, but Bill Belichick always praises the opposition. He's not going to be one that's going to give you bulletin board material. But he is right that the Cowboys do have a lot of talent. The thing that can stop the Cowboys would be much like Arizona. Do you end up having a big case of COVID? Do you end up getting some injuries that end up being catastrophic? Or do you get complacent? The thing I actually like more about the Cowboys the early part of the season is them being the underdog. People sleeping on them and basically saying they're not the team. And you have that mentality and that chip on your shoulder that I don't want them to lose. I hope that they continue to look at this and say, you know what, we've played well, but we ain't beat those guys in forever. Forever in New England. We're the underdog. Let's go get this win and go out there like my damn dogs, barking like crazy. And so with that being said, it is Saturday, and this is getting ready for tomorrow's games. We'll be live streaming starting at 12:45 Eastern, watching, of course, the Giants, who stink, as well as the Washington football team, and we'll be rolling right into the Dallas Cowboys taking on these same New England Patriots. So I hope you tune in. I like to think that we are the most fun game day live stream with our meltdown cams, and so on. I do not know if Pizzle will be live streaming or not tomorrow, so we may not actually have the meltdown cam. I believe Rio will be actually at FedEx Field. He was wavering a little bit on that one until he found out that they're going to be retiring Sean Taylor's number. They'll do anything to try and make sure that the fans come in because they know the product on the field is not worth going to see. But tugging at the hearts of a fallen warrior will definitely help to bring them on in there. And with that being said, you're up to date with everything on the Cowboys. It looks like Tyron Smith, DeMontre Kazee is okay. Donovan Wilson practiced well this week and could finally start getting some more action. So we are actually pretty healthy going into this game for the most part. And so with that being said, you know how we roll.
Our coach here, as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?